Hey, what's up? This is TJ. How you doing? Thanks for joining me. Today I am back here with the third wave from Groove Synthesis, and we're going to do a patch creation demo, seminar, whatever you want to call it. And today we're going to be using the Wave Maker tool so we can create our own wavetable and then, build a patch from that. Our source for that wavetable today is right over here, the Magella Audio in Plexus, a really cool synth, one of my favorite little ones. And the reason why I've chosen to use that is because it does a lot of wave folding and that sort of thing. So that should really make a very interesting wavetable. If you like the videos that I'm doing here, you've got to subscribe and you got to check out tjontheroad.com for more. Let's get this done. Alright, first thing I want to talk about is the source of which we're using this for, so you can get an understanding why I've selected it. It is the Magella Audio in Plexus. It is a really cool wave folding style synth, West Coast style synthesizer. One of the things that's really cool with it is that I can set it up so it'll pan through with just an envelope, that being the different settings of the wave folding it'll do. So if I just hit a note, say for example, you can hear that it's actually going back and forth and it's doing a little bit of LFO type stuff, so that should make a really cool wavetable. I don't know if you noticed, but you can actually see on the display that it makes those different moves. Here, ready? Alright, so that's going to be our source for this demo. We'll make one wavetable from that, and then we're going to split it all up into all the different oscillators and manage it, mangle it, monster it. All kinds of fun stuff. Let's go. Alright, let's make some wavetables. Alright, first thing I'm going to want to do is I got my source here, as I mentioned before. Let's take a listen to that. Sounds really awesome. No effects or anything. Sounds great. Alright, first thing I want to do is I have it pretty much an initialized patch here. I've already named it in Plexus stuff, just so I can remember. And I want to hit the Make Waves button. Right, and you'll see I've tested this before. I've made a wavetable sample before. The in Plexus, the output of that is coming into the input of the third wave. So in order for me to record, I got to hit the arm button, right, and then I got to play my note. Right, the note that I'm playing, by the way, is F sharp, because that's what it's looking for in order to make the easiest possible wavetable with the least amount of pitch adjustments according to the manual. All right, so I'm gonna hit arm. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. All right, let's hear what we got there. A lovely little sample. All right, hear it again. All right, next thing we want to do is you want to make a table from that. So we hit that. Does it pretty quickly. Now, in order to hear that across the keyboard, we have to go to our oscillator. So we're going to go to oscillator 1 here, pull that up, and you'll see that I have the wavetable set as wavetable, WM, right? In order for me to hear it across the keyboard. So now I'm not only hearing the F sharp, I can hear it all over. And this is to test it out before you actually save it, right? Very important, because if you don't like it, obviously you want to do it again, and you don't have to go back and erase it. So that's very helpful. All right, so I like that. I'm going to go back to the Make Waves here. All right, and I'm going to save it. All right, I got to give it a name. Oh, we're going to call this in Plexus again. So let's clear this out, and I'll speed up this part of the video while I'm doing this. Here we are in Plexus. Okay, it's going to save it to U63, user 63 slot. And we wait for it to finish. There we go. Now I can come back to the wavetable. All right. There we go. And I can select, instead of the Wave Maker tool, I can select user 63. All right. And there we are, in plexus for that. Now what I've also done is in the wave envelope, I set it up so you have a little bit of slower attack and slower release so we can hear what's going on, right? So if I hit any note, you can hear it going through that new wavetable that I made. Okay, a little bit of a sharp sound there, but that's okay. We'll work with that. Now we can use that throughout the synth on all three oscillators to make something really, really cool. All right, that's what we're going to do next. All right, we created our sound with the wavetables. We want to create something from that using all the same wavetable in all three different oscillators. And I'm going to approach that in three different ways. First way is I'm going to use the envelopes. Okay, and I want to change my little attack and decay envelope into something a little bit more interesting. So let's see, we want to reduce the time here for the position 1. There's 6 positions and 6 levels. Excuse me, 6 times and 6 positions. That's what their terminology is. All right, shorten the time. Okay. All right, I'm just kind of creating something cool here, I think. All right, a little bit more time. Go higher, higher. All right, those are the first 3 positions. I got to hit the button to go into the next set of positions. A little bit more time. All right. For number 5, you'll see number 5 is red. That is the release point. All right. And now number 6. Okay, that is the end of the release in this example. All right, so I'm leaving that up. I don't have to go back to 0 if I don't want to. Let's see what that sounds like. All right, that's a little fast. All right, so let's go make that a little shorter. Go back to 1. I want the time to be a little longer in the attack. All right. Okay. I like that. I'm going to start with that. All right. And now I have the oscillator 1. All right. So we have the envelope. This is at 100%. I'm going to back this off with third wave. When you have the oscillators greater than 100, when you add up all the numbers, you start to get some distortion. That may be desirable or not. I think in this case, I am going to leave it a little bit. So I'm going to leave it right at about 40%. And then the second one, second oscillator, I'm going to raise that up to about 40%. All right. Okay. I'm going to off tune it a little bit. Get a little beating here. The fine tuning. Okay. And I'm going to select that same wavetable. There we go. User 63. But instead of using the WaveMaker tool, I'm going to assign this, okay, to an LFO. Now, before I do that, right, here's my waveform, right? I want to offset it so it's somewhere in the middle. So I'm going to turn this here. All right, so that's where that is. Now it's just playing that one highlighted wave, right? Now if I go to my first LFO, right, yeah, it's a bit of a slow frequency. I'll raise the amount here. I got a triangle shape. All right, I want to change my destination to oscillator 2 wave offset. Alright, let me find that. There we go. Oscillator 1 wave, oscillator 2 wave. Right? If I turn down the first one, now you can hear the LFO here affecting the wave offset where the wavetable is going, so you're getting sort of that bouncing around effect, right? Alright, now just for fun, I'm going to change the wave shape of the oscillator to a sample and hold. So a random. All right, and I need to increase the rate. Now if I increase the first oscillator, pretty cool. Maybe if I get the second one affected by the LFO, I'm going to increase that to more of an audio rate. See what that sounds like. It sounds a little noisy. Maybe if I reduce the amount. That's a little much. We'll back that off. All right, go back to the slower. A good idea, but not working here. Let's try a different waveform, right? All right, how about a saw wave? That's interesting. That's a little more subtle. I'm going to leave the amount a little down for its effect, and I'll modulate that, some other way later on. Let's go to the third oscillator. I'm going to turn the first two down, turn this up. It's just a sine wave now, so I'm going to assign that to my wavetable that I made. Alright, and you can have it actually in the wave offset menu here, so you can see it, and you'll see that it says U63, the implexus, right? Great. I want to give that a different type of envelope, right? So I'm going to turn this one off that I'm actually working with, and I'm only going to be working with this one. That is number 3, for oscillator 3. All right, now I want to make this actually a loop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it really quick, but something really funky. Because, I like funky. It's got to be funky. I'm going to make sort of like a zigzag type shape. Okay, so that gives me a little bit of a zigzag shape. Let's make it a little longer. Give it a little bit of breathing room, right? Number 4. There we go. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to go to miscellaneous here. I went to the values, miscellaneous, and I'm going to loop it. So the loop point is at the first one. Let's go back to the envelope. It'll start at number 1 here, and it'll go to number 5. Cool, right? And I'm going to reduce the pitch on this. Create a little sub-octave. Give me a little bit of an offset. Okay, and I can go back to this here, right, and you'll see the amount that it's affecting. I'm going to reduce that. All right, and we're going to play around with this a little bit here. Cool. Now let's bring in some of these other oscillators and mix them together and see what kind of gargled mess I created. All right, 47-ish, 45-ish. All right, I'm going to turn the sub oscillator down a little bit. Oh, it's starting to sound like something. Awesome. Let me save that so I don't mess it up. Here we go. Alright, so that's our basic oscillator setup that I'm going to go with here. Let's go into our filters. Right? The first filter is the state variable filter. I'm going to put that on a notch. Put the cutoff right in the middle. Raise the resonance so that way the notch is more of a V shape. Alright, and I'm going to put some envelope on that, alright, for the filter envelope. Some time, some release. Alright, slow that down. Maybe you just do this here, bring some attack, okay. That's fun. Okay, so we've got that envelope here. Let's affect it with the velocity and have it track. We're going to track the keyboard. Alright, so that is with the first envelope, excuse me, and the first envelope and the state variable filter. I'm going to use the same envelope, the filter envelope, to affect the low pass filter. I'm going to add some saturation. Oh, there's some big ones. There's some natural. Love the saturation in the low pass filter for the third wave. Alright, lower the cutoff. Some resonance. Raise the tracking for the keyboard. Get that nice and high. Alright, what is the max amount? 127, so we're going to back that down just a little bit. I'm just messing around here with some of the different parameters, the velocity to the envelope. Okay, turn that off. Bring that back down. Very cool, right? Now I want to do some other things. Let's take the cutoff of the state variable filter, and I'm going to make that mess around with an LFO with that, right? So I'm going to set the destination, right, for the state variable filter cutoff. I have no idea where I'm going with this, but hey, that's the fun part, right? State variable cutoff, the rate, the amount. Let's see what this does. That's cool. Let's play with the wave shape. Try that random again. A lot of fun. Now, one thing I haven't done yet is I'm going to go into the miscellaneous screen here, and I haven't even done anything with adding the circuit drift. So I'm going to add that in there to get it a little bit more full, a little more vintage sounding. All right. Oh, that low end is so cool. Alright, I set my circuit drift. I've got my filters set up in the basic areas. I like where my oscillators are. Got my filters set up. I want to do some modulations. Now, if you remember in LFO 1, right, I had the amount set really, really low. I want to give that a little bit more oomph, so I'm going to set the amount as the destination for the envelope number 3, the modulation envelope, right? So let's set that as the destination. Now you can do this here, or you can do this in the mod matrix. kind of thought it'd be easier for you to see it in the video here. LFO frequency, LFO 1, amount. There we go. All right. So I want to increase that over time. A nice long, just attack and release, no decay. Okay. And we want to create the amount here. Let's see how that works. Okay, now you see it's coming in even more so. So I kind of like that little bit of a pulse there. It'd be really, really cool. You know, later on I can obviously sync the LFO to my drum machine or whatever other music that I'm doing, and that pulse will be in there. All right, let's make the attack longer though. So it builds up over time. It's kind of cool. That's a lot of fun. You know what I'm going to do with this sound? I think I'm going to make it into a lead sound. So I'm going to put the unison on. All right, I'm going to back off the volume because this might hit me pretty hard. Raise the number of voices and the detune. Maybe make a cool bass sound, right? Oh yeah, that's talking. That's going to get your subwoofer moving right there. I like that. All right. All right, so I have some modulation going on. I'm going to go over here to the modulation matrix here so I can show you. If you go all the way down to the bottom, all right, you have these fixed destinations. All right, and that's what I've been doing. When you set a destination right on the different module, it'll put it into the fixed destination. All right. Oh, I don't know. What else can we do here? I want to hear a little bit of resonance sweeping. All right. So I'm going to make this the source number 4 and the destination of the resonance. Okay, and I'm going to increase the amount of that some. All right. So this is a variable slot. You can put anything you want down here. I'm going to go to number 4. And I'm going to again kind of mimic what I did before. All right. All right, lower the scene. Okay. All right, the monster's starting to come out. Let's save that. All right. So that's a really good basic sound using the Wavemaker tool. My source being the Implexus. Might as well put some effects on there to get it really happening. All right. Let's put a flanger. All right. Yeah, yeah. All right. All right, it's kind of distorting. Turn that down here. It's getting so big. It's too big for my camera. That's awesome, and it's just one layer to get that sound. With 4 unison voices. Really, really cool. I don't know if I want to put something else there. maybe a little bit of a slap back. A BBD, low feedback. Okay, lower the mix. Now here it might be a good idea to get the sync on, right, and go back to LFO1, okay, and put that sync on as well, so that repeating kind of sound will sync up with the delay. All right, so I got that on. I like it. Alright, I got to do one more thing. Alright, I got to get the aftertouch involved in this. So later on when I use my Osmos with it, it'll really be a lot of fun. So let's say pick a source. One cool thing is I can just hold the source down, do that. Now it picked velocity, but I can just go one away from that and it gives me the pressure. Okay. Alright, I can hit destination. I wanted to hit the cutoff. Alright, I wanted to increase that, so when I give it a little bit of aftertouch, it gets brighter. Alright, maybe I should get the cutoff to be a little bit brighter in the first Alright, I really like that. Alright, that's all I got with Third Wave from Groove Synthesis, using the Wave Maker tool to create your own wavetables inside. Really great sounding and things that you could do. You could choose pretty much any source that you want and get really great results. I want to thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you so much for your support. Make sure you click subscribe and go to tjontheroad.com for lots more. There you'll see my new album, Exposition. Check it out. Thanks again. I'll see you next time.